A cam speed,
B cam speed.
C cam speed. Welcome to Brother Kitten Talking Sports, where we're gonna be talking sports pretty much. I mean, it's kind of in the title, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm Skylar Smith. I'm a Raider fan.
I'm Jeff Keller. I'm a Bears fan.
Nice. Your last name is Taylor?
Keller.
Keller. I thought you said Jeff Taylor.
Oh,
I was
imagine.
like, I got so many Jeff Taylor friends. I was like, it's crazy when you know each other's last name. But we are here. There is something I do want to say real quick. People, sports fans everywhere, there's only one nation, and that's Raider Nation. I hear Cowboys fans saying that there's Cowboy Nation, there's Laker Nation, and so on and so forth. That makes no fucking sense. First off, let's just talk about Cowboy Nation and Raider Nation. Raiders, that is a non-binary term. That is not gender specific at all. You know, not like cowboy, because what we're gonna have a nation full of cowboys. I mean, Cowboy Nation sounds like an awesome bar in WeHo or Castro or or the Village in New York, something like that. That doesn't sound like a fan base. In Laker Nation, come on, that doesn't even make any fucking sense. Like Lakers, you're talking lakes and stuff, because where they were in Minneapolis.
Yeah,
before.
they were.
Right, and then they moved to LA, so like Great Lakes and all this other kind of stuff. Like that's not people. It's not a nation of people. That doesn't even make sense. Like Laker Nation, that's an ocean. So not no longer a lake. So just hop off of it. It's okay. It's okay. That's right. So Steeler Nation as well, right?
They're Steeler Nation.
Right. Now, again, that's another thing that doesn't make sense. Steeler Nation is just a fucking building. Like that's not like people. Like what are we saying here? It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. Again, there's only one nation, and that's Raider Nation. I had to.
That's okay.
Say that.
You gotta let them know. Gotta let them know.
On this one, it doesn't seem like it, but we actually like to keep things a bit more positive.
Yeah.
Because far too often in sports do people focus on the negativity. It's wild when we're talking professional sports. We're seeing people who are the best at something.
Yeah.
That so many people try to do, but so few make it to the pros. But yet people like to focus on the negative shit. Like, look at the shit they were talking about Lamar Jackson after the Chiefs game. Do you get that?
I know why it's a thing. It's because people have always had this stigma that he's not a viable quarterback. So any chance they get to talk down on him, they are. He's got 2 MVPs.
Even when we go beyond just like the 2 MVPs, it's his performances. And I get to sometimes people are saying, yeah, but it's how does he perform in the playoffs? Okay, cool. How many teams can make it to the playoffs? What is it, 16?
Yeah, I think so.
So 16, right? But look at the court, look at the rest of the field performs in the playoffs versus him. And on top of that, it's like, hey, we're in the Patrick Mahomes era. It's going to happen. But I do feel that like we have way more quality quarterbacks than the league has ever had.
Yeah.
And the way Lamar Jackson played in that game, like that Chiefs and Ravens game, for it to be week 1, for it to feel like a playoffs atmosphere, and on top of that, that man's on the road, and how he put the game on his shoulders, like the beating his body took. Crazy.
Insane.
And yet they just want to focus on the negative. And I feel a lot of it does have to do with sports talk, 24-hour media.
Yeah.
Because you have to nitpick.
You gotta always have something to talk about. But it's just like they've always had an issue with him. So I think any chance that they get to say anything is just gonna be superimposed. Because like you look at, they were like, oh, he can't throw. Now, and then it's funny because I was watching that game and Troy Aikman was like, oh, Lamar's always been a pocket passer.
Right. True.
So it's like, wait, but they said he can't throw.
Because who was his name from Fox or FS1, whatever the fuck that network is called? I'll never watch it. Colin.
Oh, Cowherd.
Yeah, I watched a video of him like slamming like the Baltimore Ravens drafted him, and like there's been so many videos of him shitting on him, and then him turning right. But then he has admitted like, hey, I was wrong when
Yeah.
it came to Lamar. But just last year, what's Cuz name? Ferrio or whatever. His last name starts with an S. It's Italian last name. But he has that show with Chris Sims,
Okay.
Mike Ferrio,
Okay.
or whatever the fuck him. But the shit he was talking about Lamar before the San Francisco 49er game last year, and when they just boat raced those
Yeah, they
motherfuckers.
did. They dog walked him at home.
It's a thing where we can't forget these people are human beings.
Yeah.
And who dedicated their life to something and who's great at something. Like, no matter how you may feel that they didn't win the big one yet, it's like it's 32 football teams. Only one can win it anyway. You know, like there are plenty of great quarterbacks who never won it. Dan Marino's the first one to pop to my head. How long it took Elway to get it? Like Elway didn't get his 2 rings until the end of his career.
Yeah.
But that still didn't make them great. I mean, hell, Steve Young only has 1, but that's still 1. And not to say only 1, like having 1 is a big deal.
What's the hardest sport to win a championship in?
Playing the hardest position in sports.
Like, it's like people forget about that. Like, there's 22 people on the field at a time, and they all have to do their job on every play, or else they're not going to be successful. There's no other sport where it's like that.
Right.
Like even baseball, like you don't. There's not much. Baseball's the same no matter what team you're on, right? Like that's why I can get traded from LA to New York and play the same day because it's all the same.
I think what is it? Except for designated hitters, right?
Yeah.
Because I think NL has DH.
No. It's universal DH now.
Oh, is that? Oh, yeah. I didn't know that.
So Ohtani, since he can't pitch right now,
right? Because I know he's DH.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. It was the other way around. It used to be AL DH and NL didn't have it, but now I didn't know it was universal now, which is great. I used to run it. It's like, why would it be different in the same?
Yeah, it makes no sense.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it literally made no sense. But yeah, so it's like it's so much harder, and the playbooks are so complicated.
Right. It's the playbooks as complicated as they are, but on top of that, it's like when you're dealing with a quarterback like Lamar Jackson who has to run, throw, dissect defenses, and then it's the first game of the season, so chemistry of an offensive line is so damn important. And you can tell it quite wasn't there. And on top of that, you're playing against one of the best defenses. And on top of that, one of the best defensive players. Chris Jones is on that line. And he's a fucking game wrecker. And that's exactly what he was doing. And some people was dropping some of those balls.
Yeah.
And then there was like all kinds of miscommunication and stuff. And so it's just like, it's gonna happen. I love to stay on the side like, hey, let's admire these great athletes while they're still playing, because when they're done, they're done. And like right now, like you barely hear about Marino not winning the big one, but people talk about like how great he was. But imagine how much shit he had to hear while he was playing. It's just like, hey, celebrate folks while they are great. I mean, hell, give people flowers that actually improve. Again, it's just week 1, but Sam Darnold, seeing him, what was it? I think he went 14 for open the game with 14 for 14.
Yeah, he completed 10 straight passes to start the game. Crazy.
And all I saw on Twitter, number 1 trending topic, shitting on Daniel Jones. It's like, okay, it's Daniel Jones, he may not be that damn good.
It's like we've known this already.
Like that's not a surprise. Sam Darnold is a fucking surprise.
Well, I've always said this though, like since I found out he was going to be the starter, because he's never played on a good team.
Right.
The Jets gave him absolutely nothing and then kicked him out. And then he bounced around. And then we saw with the Niners last year what he could do with a good supporting cast. And Minnesota, they got two top receivers. They've got a running back that's good. Like, offensive line is pretty decent. Like, he actually has talent around him.
Right. And a coach who's great at coaching quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're right. Like, he may have never had that. I mean, like, what his situation in the Jets, I was like, that's a bad situation.
It was so bad.
The situation in Carolina, that's a bad
Terrible.
situation. Jesus Christ, Carolina.
So
I mean,
bad.
Like,
worse even this year than last year.
that's a team that we won't talk about because it's going to be very hard to keep it positive.
Yeah.
Like, the most positive I can keep it when it comes to that is I'm glad I'm not a Carolina Panthers fan.
Right.
That's a rough life, y'all. I hope things take a turn
Hopefully.
for the better. You know.
Yeah.
I will say it did seem like people had no issue focusing on the positive side of Tyreek Hill, but the negative side. But that's something I do say, like, hey, we need to pay a little bit more attention to what happened and why it happened.
Yeah, I saw that video. I watched it yesterday. It was pretty bad.
It's sad. And what people are saying about the whole, like, he should have been cooperating. It's like, hey, look at the full 3-minute video. Like, roll down his window. Let them know, like, hey, don't be banging on my window. That is his right to say that.
Yeah.
And then he did hand them his license and registration. Then he rolled back up his window. That is his right to do so.
I've done that every time. I don't leave my window down.
Hey, like, they can't tell him to keep it down.
Yeah.
Like, they are fucking with him. And then so,
It's crazy. I was like, as soon as that happened, I was like, yeah, that's bad. And then they snatched him out their car.
Yeah.
And then they're demanding to get the license and registration from his teammates. And it's like, for what? Right. Y'all didn't pull them over.
Exactly. It's just like, what right do you have to ask them for their license and registration? Like, now they are in full right to say no, even though I will say, I mean, this is what we have to say to amongst each other that looks like us is, hey, just go ahead, cooperate because it ain't worth it. It's like,
yeah,
we have seen white people grandstand on things, talk to cops all kinds of disrespectful, and nothing happened. And then us, it's a whole other different situation.
Well, that's what Tyreek was saying. He was like, I could have handled it better.
Right.
And it's like he could have, but also like he was standing on his rights.
He was well within his right to act the way he was acting, but that is not the way our parents teach us.
Exactly.
Our black parents teach us to be things, when our black parents are teaching us to be woke.
Mm-hmm.
Once woke, I'm trying to take that back for us because remember, folks, woke just means it's a term that was created within the black community that black parents would say to their kids, hey, things are going to be different for you because of the race that you are. So be aware. Don't let that be your excuse to not succeed in this world. Stay woke. Work harder than your white counterparts. I do not care that they've hijacked that and turned it to something else. Like people saying the problem with wokeness, like y'all have no idea how fucking racist you sound.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to Tyreek Hill. I mean,
even the fact that they were telling them that they couldn't pull over there, and I'm like, yes, they can.
Yeah.
I was like, they can. They actually can. But it was all about them not trying to have witnesses because they forgot they had a body cam.
Yeah, this is the ego trip. I don't think they forgot they had a body cam. I think they just didn't give a fuck. And
yeah, they didn't.
The thing that people try to look at it differently because it wasn't white police. Like black people have said forever, like the ones who aren't white oftentimes are way worse.
The worst.
The
worst and are the least helpful.
Right. Right.
Like I remember I got my car towed randomly for no reason. And I was trying to figure out what happened to it because my car was gone. And there was a black cop that pulled up. I was asking her to help me. She was like, oh, they'll just mail it to you. and just drove off. And then this white cop pulled up on the bike and was like, I told him what happened. He was like, oh yeah, since your car was here, it's probably here. You got to do this, do that. He was like, yeah, man, I hate it too. Like, that's why it's crazy, all this stuff, right? Like, he's just trying to help me out. He was super nice. I got my car back that day. If I'd have just listened to her, I would have just left my car there because it would have been like a week. A week later, I would have found out what happened to it.
That's cold.
And I wouldn't have been able to pay for it. So, like, yeah.
I will say there are 2 times I got pulled over by a black cop, and they had let me slide with some things.
Yeah.
I will say that, like, I've only ever had issues with white cops. I've never had an issue with a cop that was a person of color. And I've been through some bullshit with some police, but
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Oh, that's the thing, bro. Like, I have too, but like, I have had some issues with white cops for sure, but most of my negative experience have been with cops of color. Cops of color and like female cops.
I would say, like, a lot of people I know, the exact same thing. You know, I feel very fortunate that I haven't had certain kind of experience, even though, I mean, hell, I once got arrested for something that I didn't do, which was fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to more
Yeah.
positive things.
Yes.
And positive experiences. C.J. Stroud, that man. There were a lot of people saying, would he have a sophomore slump?
And he didn't.
And to come out the gate with the incredible game that he had, him and Anthony Richardson. I mean, we'll get to Anthony Richardson in a bit, but how'd you feel about CJ?
I mean, it was good to see. I mean, I expected it. I mean, I expected it to keep going. They went out and they got Stephon Diggs. They got Joe Mixon. Like, they just keep improving the cast around him. So, he really didn't have an excuse in my mind. Like you have everything you need, bro. Just don't get too cute with it. Don't overthink it. Just go out and play like you've been playing. Feel like this is what he should be doing.
A bit true,
but like I understand the sophomore slump thing.
Yeah, I mean it's still like it's the fucking NFL.
Yeah,
teams have more tape on you.
Well, that's the thing, yeah.
Right, and then it's like, hey, he started this year better than how he started his last year. So to show that growth, you know, to not only pick up where he left off, to exceed so much.
Yes.
More. And you hear how his teammates talk about him, and then you hear him talking this shit. He's a very confident person.
Absolutely.
Like, I do think if he didn't go out there and ball like he did, the internet would have killed him.
Oh, it would have killed him. Oh, for sure. They would have killed him. And I would have been like, it's the first game.
But I also feel like rightfully so. Like, you're gonna go out there, you're gonna talk your shit. You better can perform like.
Yeah, that's true.
Are they gonna treat you like Eli Apple?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Or C.J. Gardner Johnson or Sauce Gardner.
I fucked with Sauce Gardner. Sauce Gardner. I didn't even watch. I didn't get a chance to watch the Jets in Niners game. Did he get cooked?
They whole defense got cooked. The whole defense got cooked. And what's crazy is that, like, Brock Purdy didn't even throw a touchdown, and they still got whooped.
I mean,
they were just running it down their throats.
True. What's the running back name? Jordan.
Oh, yeah, the guy that replaced CMC. He murdered it.
Yeah, just call him Jordan, right? Because Jordan's one of his names. I'll forget his first or last name, but third year in the league, right? Undrafted free agent.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? 140-something yards or something around there.
Crazy.
In the touchdown. Again, that's one of the games I did not get a chance to watch. I forgot what the fuck I was doing Monday, but I was somewhere. I can't remember that shit. But I was just happy for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Right. Like I was curious to see if was there going to be zip on that ball. And there was.
There was
plenty of it.
Yeah, he ain't lost a step.
Not at all. You know, of course, it's like it's gonna take time. Jets fans are wild, like how they're already trying to jump off a bridge. I'm like, it's on the road. Aaron Rodgers ain't played in a motherfucking year.
It's the first game.
It's the first fucking game.
It's the first game.
Y'all scored two touchdowns. Now, one of those touchdowns, It's like in the game, garbage points, but y'all scored a legit touchdown. Like, be happy with that.
Yeah, it's gonna take time. Chemistry's got to develop. He hasn't played in a year.
Right, where it's like, look what this team had dealt with, where, hey, they rookie rideout just got shot.
He got shot up.
It's like, that, of course, united that team. Like,
Yeah.
going, two times. But going into that week one, like, there's no fucking way they're about to lose that damn game at home on Monday night. Come on now.
No, there's no way.
Niners are tough. Like, that defense is crazy. Somebody was making a great point. Bill Belichick was talking about this on Pat McAfee's show about the whole idea of a quarterback being a game manager, why people look at that as a slight. He's like, nah, the point of it is to win the fucking game.
Yes.
Like, it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if your quarterback is more than the game manager, then y'all have a problem.
Yeah.
Like, he is fulfilling holes that are there. If your quarterback is a game manager, then that is a compliment to your team. That's showing like how well managed and how well how y'all don't have holes that need to be filled.
Yeah, it's a well-built
right?
team.
Now, of course, you want a quarterback who has the ability to be more than the game manager. But in Brock Purdy's situation, he's never had to be more than the game manager because of how well balanced that team is.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Back to Anthony Richardson, though.
Yeah.
That man on. I feel like people need to talk more about the fact that he dropped back, slipped, didn't really even get his balance back, and still threw that damn ball 60 yards in the air. Like,
crazy. He only had 9 completions and still had 215 yards passing.
Something like that.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I think it's more than 215, right?
Yeah, it was a lot for the amount of completions he had. It was crazy.
It's like,
he completed 9 passes and you got like over 200 something yards. Like, what? I had to look at the stats closer because I was like, that don't sound right.
He still accounted for like 3 touchdowns, right? He ran for 2 and ran for 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then the one that he ran for, like, really had to power through it. It's like, it's a freaking nature. And the potential, I mean, I like that the Colts took that kind of risk on that kind of player because it's like, hey, it's a risk.
It is, but they had everything else though.
True. And it's like if we hit on this guy, what we get?
Yeah.
If he can be coached, and if we can lean into what he does, when it seems like they are doing that, it's, man.
Yeah.
What they got on their hands. It's like, yes, it's going to take some time. It just becomes a little hard when you're in the same division as C.J. Stroud.
Yeah.
Because look at him, C.J. I mean, he also slipped on the throw and then threw a ball from his knees.
It's crazy,
Crazy man. Completion.
Crazy man.
I mean, somebody else also tried to do a pass after being slip or knocked over Will Levis.
Yeah, I know.
Right. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's what won the game for you guys.
Pick 6.
Yeah. And that fucks with Will Levis. It's like, that man loves ball. The intensity. He's another one.
Oh, super intense. He got smacked a bunch of times in that game.
Still gets up. Runs hard when he needs to. Got a cannon on him. It's Will Levis. Again, that man has so much potential.
Mm-hmm.
The Jaguars won too, right? Like,
no, they lost. They played Miami.
Oh, they did.
They were winning, and then Tua said, "No, not today."
That's right. That's right. I did watch that game, and that's why I thought that they won because it's like for the majority of it they were up, and then it flipped somewhere else. And
in the second half, Tua was like, "All right, I'm awake now.
Right.
Let me just start flanging that thing to Tyreek and Jalen Waddle."
I don't get why people though are so hard on Trevor Lawrence.
Because he was the number 1 overall pick. That's really why. I think if Trevor Lawrence was like just a quarterback from that draft, like they wouldn't be as hard on him. But like it's the same thing with Caleb, right? You're first overall pick. You're touted as this generational talent. They're gonna expect you to be like doing it.
And you look like a creative player's quarterback,
You do.
right? It's like you have it all.
He's big. He's big. He's big. He's fast. He's got
Perfect
everything.
hair.
Yeah, perfect hair. He does. Yeah.
Not a strand of hair is all ever out of place.
It's funny because I know a guy that kind of looks like him, so we always just call Trevor Lawrence his name, which is funny.
Man, but shit, going into like your Bears though, man. I mean, what was it? Caleb had, was it 83 yards? How many yards? 88?
Yeah, he had like less than 100 yards, no touchdowns. Well, but he should have had a touchdown pass, but Keenan Allen dropped it.
But he didn't do nothing for them to lose the game.
Yeah, well,
he didn't make any bad decisions.
Yeah, he didn't turn the ball over. Well, he made the bad decision,
Well,
but
he
he
did
turned
make
the
some bad
ball over.
decisions,
He
yeah.
didn't turn the ball over.
Exactly.
And that was what I was happy with. I was like, he didn't turn the ball over. I mean, he has some nice throws. He had a couple of nice runs, but it's just like, again, it's the first game. It's the first game. It's not like you play a whole lot in preseason, and even when you do, you're not always playing against the top guys. Like, just give him a second. Like, the whole offense looked bad. Receivers dropping balls, running backs making terrible decisions with their cuts. Like, it was the offense all around had a bad day. Our center was getting destroyed. He got ran over like 3 times. Like, I'm like, the offense as a whole did bad. It wasn't all on him. Everyone could have played better.
I think the Titans may have a great defense on them.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
those two tackles are game wreckers. You got Simmons and Sweat. Come on, they're huge.
I think too, it was great that Caleb Williams learned pretty early. Like, hey, some of your Caleb Williams shit that you got away with in college and got away with in preseason is not going to work during the regular season.
That 19-yard sack took them out of field goal range when they were about to, they could have potentially got a first down and maybe scored a touchdown. It's just like, it was a really good learning experience for him. I think he's going to play way better next week. But I mean, this is the Bears that I grew up with, right? The offense going and then defense and special teams picking it up. That's been my whole fandom, my whole life. But what I liked was his post-game interviews. He absolutely pointed out his flaws. He took responsibility.
I feel like that game gave him a lot to work with, a lot to learn from.
Yeah.
Which is a great thing, and to walk away with so many things to build on, but you still got the W.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel that really does help with morale.
Yeah, he was like, he said it. He was like, I'm grateful that we got the win. He was like, I did not play great. I didn't play the way I wanted to. I didn't play the way that I know I can. But he was like, you know what? We're gonna get back in the lab. We're gonna correct everything, fix everything that we can, and get back out there next week and do it better.
His energy after they got the W. It's like, hey, that's what you want from your quarterback.
Yeah. It has been from day one though. From day one, the way that he's been, I'm like, okay, this is what we want. Like, that's why all that BS about him being cocky and being a diva, I'm like, I have not seen that at all. And none of his teammates have seen it.
For people to go off of rumors about him is all kinds of fucked up, because that's what I was thinking. I fussed with Pat McAfee show, and they had talked about it a little bit, right? But I thought it was a little bit unusual for them to talk about things that aren't really that didn't come from the player mouth themselves, like the whole, if I'm going to get drafted by a team, I got to get ownership stake in the team. It's like,
he never said that.
Right. Right. So why would people talk about something that did not come from his mouth and they say, hey, came from his team? Now, of course, it's like people like Pat and other folks are more so in the know of these things, right? But if it didn't come from him, especially something big like that, why even talk about it?
And personally, I don't have a problem with that.
True.
Like
What's wrong with asking?
Yeah.
Like, they say no, get the fuck out of here. Like, all right.
I'm like, cause like I've had so many people like have that attitude with me about that. And I'm like, why shouldn't he ask for a stake in the team? Because he's going to be making the team billions of dollars. That's what they expect from him, right? So like, why would that be out of pocket for him to be like, hey, can I have like a little piece of the pie?
And I think that's a great thing. I mean, him being a black man, it's a great thing to show us to ask for these things.
Exactly.
Because when we talk about the gender race gap, and I know deeper than that, when it's also by race as well,
Mm-hmm.
a lot what goes into it is people of color and women simply don't ask for more.
No, they don't. And so that was part of it too. I'm like, this is a black man asking for ownership in a team that he's going to be playing for. Like, why do you have a problem with that?
Right, at least start the conversation in certain places because I feel hell, Pat Mahomes is well within his right to do the fucking same thing. You know?
He is.
He's crazy underpaid.
He is a partial owner of a team. He owns a stake in
The soccer team.
Yeah, and in the baseball team.
Oh yes. So it's like, why can't they do that for NFL? But you see them blocking that.
Yeah, for sure. They don't want that. They don't want that.
Nah.
They don't want that. It's no.
I mean, look what they're doing to Tom Brady. That's wild. That's so fucking wild.
And Tom is their boy too. They're like, chill.
Hey,
You're doing too much.
My Raiders. That D line looks great. Looks good.
Yeah.
For rushing the quarterback. Now that second half, the running part. I think our secondary. You know, like what we were able to do to Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
I'm worried about the running game. You know, I'm not worried at all about the receivers.
No, y'all have a good receiving core.
Yeah.
It's just
I hate playing it safe. You know, like what was it? I think it was 4th and 1, and what was it like the fourth? Yeah, in the fourth quarter when they decided to punt instead of going for it. You know,
you need to go for it.
Now I get the thinking a bit. It's like, hey, our run game's been shut down all fucking game, and we haven't been able to make one. You know, it's like, and our defense has been showing up for us. It's like, I get that, but that's still Justin Herbert. You know,
and it's like you can make the passing game an extension of your running game too. You can just do like a quick screen or something. There's so many. You got so many options. Like you can't. My dad always says this, and I agree. Like you can't play to not lose the game. You got to play to win.
Exactly, and it just didn't feel like it fit Antonio Pierce, like who he is, and who the Raiders are. It's like when we don't play like the Raiders, we get in trouble.
Yeah,
you know, it's but I am hopeful going forward. I don't know how hopeful I would be. I mean, I can be with the whole quarterback situation.
Yeah.
It's there's some times when I see Gardner Minshew throw that ball, even for quick screens, the way the hang time on it, the way it just floated in the air. I'm looking at this shit and I'm like, damn, man. You know, now for our defense to play the way it did, even though we were all banged up the way we were.
Yeah.
Again, it like makes me hopeful.
Yeah, you're building depth.
Going for it. But we'll see.
Yeah.
We will see. I was a person that was hoping more for ALC, and the reason being is like the upside. It's like we know what Gardner Minshew is.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel the way that our line did hold up a bit, like would AOC would do fine. Now again, Minshew, he has way more mobility than him. Now I can also get to thinking if it's like, okay, look at these first two games, right? We got the Chargers on the road. I believe, we have the Ravens next on the road.
That's tough.
That's tough to put AOC out there
Yeah.
like that. You know, Minshew did seem like a better choice for that. I admit I'm not too hopeful going into this weekend.
Yeah, they're especially because they're coming off a loss, so they're gonna be
At home,
yeah,
it's the Ravens.
yeah.
But you know,
Any given Sunday, right?
exactly. This is why they play the game.
Mm-hmm.
This is why you play the game.
You never know. You never know.
Yeah. I looked at my anyways. But the big no, I mean, the news that has been kind of also dominating recently though, the halftime show.
Yeah.
When I saw K-Dot, I got excited.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's Kendrick. And then we see the fake outrage on Twitter,
So annoying.
which is wild to me.
Come on, like if this was 10 years ago, I get it. But it's like now, like, come on. In the Super Bowl, and the thing that bothers me is a lot of these same people, like we were talking like earlier, like the Super Bowl has been in New Orleans how many times? And we're just now seeing all this outrage that they're not picking Wayne. And it's like, I get like, yeah, it's about time. Like it's past due time, right? But like it's at a point where I'm just like, I don't think he can carry a halftime performance by himself.
I'm on the side, I believe he can. I just think the risk is too high.
Yeah.
I was trying to think about this when I was thinking about like past halftime performers. I don't know anyone that's had a longer rap sheet than Wayne does.
Yeah, it's true.
It's when we're talking about like being sent away for a year. Almost being sent away for 7 years.
Yeah.
The seizure that he had.
Yeah.
Even though that man not been, yeah. And then some of he's been admitted to the substance abuse issues that he's had and stuff. And I think what's beautiful about like where Wayne is now in his career is he's been pretty much, I would say squeaky clean, but pretty clean these past couple of years, and he's been on this incredible run again. For me, when it comes to who I think is the best of all time, depending on the day, I go back and forth between Jay and Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
Most days I feel it's Wayne, some I feel it's Jay. So I love seeing Wayne perform. I mean, I've seen Wayne perform live. I've seen a great Wayne performance. I know that people has had some bad experiences. I've seen videos and stuff, right? I've never seen Kendrick or heard of Kendrick having a bad experience. We know how creative he is when it comes to his performances and how much love he puts into it. I thought of Tyler the Creator popped in my head when it was announced about Kendrick and I was thinking about Wayne. Now I hate speaking ill on someone that I think is phenomenal.
Yeah.
But I've never seen Wayne have like an elaborate like stage.
Yeah.
A performance where it was just him and he just went all out. Tyler talked about this when he was talking about like these new rappers, is how it's just them with a mic on stage going.
Yeah.
It's like what when you see what Tyler's doing. Like I remember, I saw Tyler in his when he was touring for Goblin all those years ago at the Warfield in San Francisco. It wasn't like he had an elaborate stage, but like how hyped he was, and then like all that went into it. Now I see what he's been doing like that last album that he did with DJ Drama.
Yeah.
Where it's like Call Me If You Get Lost. And those elaborate stages that he's having now, and then all he puts into a performance and stuff, it's like he's one of the ones where it's just like, if I got an opportunity to go see him,
you gotta go.
Right, and I know it's just he's gonna give me more than him performing. It's a fucking show.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a show.
Right,
It's a show.
and that's what Kendrick does, and they know that. Like they watch, they pay attention to these things when they're selecting people, and there's no doubt that they.
And he's got the biggest song in the world right now. So I mean,
true, but even more than having the biggest song is like the catalog to that is. I wouldn't say Super Bowl friendly, but like stadium music. Like Kanye talks about it. Like that one song, stadium music. Like that's important to have.
It
you
is.
know, like when you have a track, like you can perform a "Be Humble."
Yeah.
You know, of course not like us, but then the other tracks, I blanked on everything when I was saying. I was gonna just list things.
Yeah, you good.
But yeah, I mean. Somebody's talked about this. Has there ever been a performer that had that performed? Shit, it was Roy from Roy Mall that performed the same song twice because he's gonna perform all right. He's already performed all right at the Super Bowl before.
Yeah.
You know, but of course it's like you're gonna have to do that again. I don't know, man. Shit, I don't. I hope this love for Wayne is there when his next album drops.
Right. But that's the thing. That's why I'm frustrated is because I just feel like it's just a lot of fake love from a lot of people. It's a lot of people who are just jumping on a bandwagon of being upset. Cause I'm like, okay, where were y'all when his last album dropped?
Sure. I don't know what the numbers is on it because I know, well, his last album was the one he did with 2 Chainz.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the one before that is the one he did with Rich the Kid.
Mm-hmm.
I know Funeral performed well.
Yeah.
And I mean, great fucking album. Where are y'all at when he's killing these verses?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a funny thing that happens, and anyone can do this. Just go and look at Wayne being featured in some of the songs that recently, and you see people repeatedly saying, yes, damn, Wayne's back. I'm like, but y'all been saying that for a couple of years. He's been back. Like, where have y'all been? Like, there's this song he has, it's not his song, it's a song called Batman.
Yeah.
And I don't even know who the fuck the main artist is, but it's him and Moneybagg Yo.
Mm-hmm.
Here's this artist, I have no fucking clue who this dude is, and Wayne kills that fucking shit. Like, it's an insane verse. And you barely hear it being talked about. There's some verses off that 2 Chainz album. He just kills. Like, where were y'all at when that 2 Chainz out? Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like y'all weren't giving him all this love then, but now because a couple of people who some of them have other agendas, let's be real.
Yeah.
Over their frustration, are mad that he's not being selected. Now y'all are like, oh yeah, they should have picked him.
Hey, instead of celebrating that, hey, we're having, for the first time, a rapper headlining the Super Bowl.
Exactly.
This is the first time this has happened. It's like when Dre did it, it's Dre and friends. And Dre's not a rapper, you know, he's a producer who also raps. You know, we're having an artist like Kendrick Lamar, because it's not just a rapper, but a conscious rapper.
Yes.
Headlining the Super Bowl. Remind me of his lyrics in what's that remix of Face Off? How y'all let a conscious rapper go?
Yeah.
You know, it's like this. Like these things are important when we're talking culture. You know, I also hate about this how people are posting certain things about Wayne, about like why he shouldn't be. You know, like it felt dirty coming out of my mouth. About that whole him, what I just said earlier, like his rap sheet being like as long as it is. Like I hate the fact that we have to talk about this instead of like, hey, celebrate him.
And people were posting that WrestleMania performance too. They were like, this is probably why too.
Yeah, I hated that. Like I hated being reminded. I'll be honest, I completely forgot that fucking shit happened. On top of that though, too, it's like, come on, people. It's like he's walking out there, that long ass walk and all that, no rap and all that shit. It's like, that wasn't too a pause in the show for Wayne to perform. I believe somebody was coming out.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, old boy from Bloodline, right?
Mhm.
I forget his name. The one's always like Yeet. I've been so tapped out of wrestling
I
recently.
have too. I know who you're talking about though.
Yeah, Jay something.
Oh, it was Jey Uso.
Yeah, Jay Uso. Yeah, because I saw that and I didn't hold that against him. You know,
Yeah.
I forget where it was, but there was a recent performance I saw Wayne where he killed it, and I've been hearing great things recently.
Yeah, he's on tour right now.
And so I was like, hey, people keep that energy. And I love the fact that he did campaign to do that he wanted to do it. I think that's fucking dope.
Yeah.
You know, like, hey, you care for something. Now, all the other negativity that's coming along with it, it's like, nah, that's silly. Not as silly as Shannon Sharp.
Oh my gosh.
Damn. Shannon. He's Uncle
Shay Shay.
Some things you wish you didn't like click on. I saw Shannon Sharp like trending. I was like, when it's number one and it's somebody I got a lot of respect for, I get nervous.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, you okay? And I click and I hear, I just say, it's nice. It's nice to know you are a caring, loving person. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good for you, brother. Good for you.
Do you think he got hacked?
Nah.
I don't think so either. I think he just pressed the button on accident because he didn't know what he was doing.
If he got hacked, right? I think that is one of the most clever people ever.
Yeah.
To hack somebody like that, to think like, oh, I'm not gonna post silly shit. I'm not even gonna post like you doing sexual acts to some of the rumors that are out there about you. I'm gonna do it in a way that is gonna be super believable. And on top of that, I got somebody that can imitate you very, very well, who's gonna say things that sounds like you would say doing those kind of like physical activities.
Yeah.
But no, it's
I think he was trying to record it and for his later enjoyment, and he accidentally went live on Instagram.
Nah, because first off, that's a charge.
It is a charge.
Yeah, that's a charge that I fully support. Punk ass sucker people recording people not knowing like use a fucking sucker if you do some shit like that. No. I don't think that he would do something like. I mean, I don't know him at all.
Yeah.
I don't put anything past anyone. But I think it was a thing where he was on Instagram doing whatever the fuck on Instagram, and then accidentally went live. As he was putting his phone away. Because he's trying to put the phone away.
Yeah.
And then he went live by mistake. Now, I never went live before. I thought that when you go live, I just always imagine that it's a are you sure thing.
I think it is a process. Like, I don't think it's an instant thing.
Right. I would hope so.
Yeah. I think you have to press like a couple buttons.
But yeah, I've never been live before. But I think at some point, I thought about this. At some point, some of these older people who use these devices are going to make certain kind of mistakes.
That's true.
He's of that age.
Yes, he is. Even though he don't look it, he is.
Right? And so I think it's fully possible that he went live by mistake, because some people think that he did it on purpose to kind of debunk some of those rumors. But I don't think so either. It's like, as he said out of his mouth, like he's been dealing with this his whole life.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you ain't gonna get to his age and be like, hey, I'm gonna prove you people wrong.
Yeah.
Right? Nah. And his kind of sex talk, I don't think you want out there. Even though it wasn't like anything egregious or anything like that, it's just, hey man, that man's a caring lover.
Good caring lover indeed.
Good for you. I was trying to think to myself too. I was like, I don't think I've ever said a woman's name during while I was dancing with her horizontally. I don't like that. That's not in my bag.
I don't think I have either.
That sounds like some old school stuff.
Like, maybe I have, but I can't. I don't recall. I don't recall.
Oh, sweet Michelle. That's love right there, man.
Well, he's Southern too, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
He old and Southern. That sounds about right.
Right, right, like good. Yeah, man. Good for you, Shannon.
Good for you, Uncle Shannon. Good job. Good job. You got it. That's proud of you.
You did that thing you did, and it seemed like that other person
They liked
was
it.
happy.
Yeah. You still got it. You haven't lost a step. Good for you.
That was a lot of information for me to learn in like 13 seconds. I was on that thing for about 13 seconds. Like, I'm getting out of this. This does. I don't want to be here.
Nah.
I don't want to be here.
I didn't even watch it. I just read it and I was like, oh, no. I'm done with this article.
Right? I often avoid a lot of those things. I'm like, I'm not trying to see this, hear this. This ain't me. Anyways, back to more important things. I guess do a quick, not even a recap. What do you think your team record's going to be this year?
I don't know. After seeing that first game, I'm kind of nervous, but I think we can win 10 games. We should have won 10 games last year. When I think we have at least the same level, maybe a little bit better quarterback than we had last year, and a better supporting cast. I think our defense is going to be our defense. Like they proved that, and I think they're just going to continue to show that. I mean, Tyreek Stevenson got Defensive Player of the Week, so I think we can win at least 10 games. I think we can. I think they should be disappointed if they don't, to be honest with you. With the way that the team is built. We gotta get a better center, man. Which sucks because I'm confused. I'm like, this man was the center for the Rams when they won the Super Bowl. Like, what happened, bro? What happened to you?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you got, sometimes you don't, you know?
Yeah, he definitely didn't have it. He definitely, no.
Teams play 17 games, right?
Yeah.
It's an 18-week season, 17 games. So, yeah, I don't think it's a doubt that the Raiders are going to go 16-1.
16-1, got it.
16-1.
Got it.
You know what I mean? You're going to get this shit together.
Yeah.
You know, Gardner's going to get some games, and then probably going to throw ALC in there. Probably going to pick up Russell Wilson because he ain't playing for the Steelers.
Is he hurt, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I as a Bears fan, I hope that Russell Wilson doesn't play because then that draft pick that they gave us for Justin Fields gets upgraded to like a 4th or 5th round pick instead of a 6th round pick.
I want the Raiders to get Justin Fields so bad, but when we got y'all OC that y'all didn't want, because, you know, that makes sense. It's like getting OC that the Bears fired, and he will be great.
We hated him. He's so bad.
Yeah.
I think I've told you this before. I literally watched him call the same play 3 times in a row. Yeah. And the third time it was an interception. And I was like, I'm not even mad at you, Justin. Like, he literally called the same screen 3 times in a row. Like, dude.
Yeah.
What are you doing? I'm sure he's not doing much better for y'all.
Yeah. Didn't look like it.
He's
but
bad.
You know, he's going to figure it out. And you know what? By the end of the season, everybody will be saying there's only one nation, and that's Raider Nation.
I just hope it's not a plot to get Antonio Pierce fired. I hope that that's not what it is.
I'm not. It does seem like a setup.
Because
it seemed like they were forced to hire him as the coach. And then you don't keep the GM there that, you know, it's like, sure, take the person who was fired from the Chargers, and then takes the OC that was just fired from the Bears, and, you know, just sandwich him in with these 2 people that I'm not too hopeful for, because I forgot what happened to oh boy who used to be the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, who I believe is with
Cliff.
Yeah, Cliff, who's on, he's the OC for Washington.
Yeah, after he was working for Lincoln Riley.
Right. He was in the building and was hired as the OC for the Raiders, and then something happened, and then no one's talking about what happened. It seemed like him and Pierce got along well, and Pierce was very excited to have him as the OC. And
Yeah, we're not gonna say that they're trying to get him fired, but they're trying to get him fired.
yeah, we're gonna say they're gonna bad news bears it.
But you know what though? For him, I think that people have already seen how good of a coach that he can be. I don't think that he'll be out of a job next year, like if they fire him. Like I think he's gonna find a job like that.
I think that he's gonna have enough to motivate them to at least win 16 games.
Yeah, 16. If he
Yeah.
gets 16, then they can't fire him.
Yeah, at least 16. Anyways, this was this, and this is that. I don't know, a good sign off. I like the idea of just ending things.
Just fade into black.
Yes.